Today is 16th of July 2015, Thursday. Let's recap the news and economic announcements from today. The most important one was the ECB bid rate, which stayed the same at 0.05%, and the ECB press conference. Draghi seems to be standing by Greece, which is good news for Greece. So if you look at the news, there's news of how markets like what they hear from Draghi, which is good. And you would see here, for example, where is it? Draghi affirms faith in Greece place in Euro. So you could almost say that the Greece crisis is the negative concern for Greek crisis is getting lower and lower. Another news, not from the announcements as such, but pound seems to be appreciating against euro, and there is news of how pound is hit 7-year high against euro. So if you look in the chart, so this is a 10-year chart going back to 2005, and you see it is now giving 1.4 euro for a pound. This was last in 2007 December, something like that. So I think this is happening because of the policy divergence between Eurozone and British economy. So pound is on the rise, it seems, and euro will go down, I think. There was news of how Bank of England would be considering raising rates, and on the other hand, Eurozone is in between or inside a QE, hence the difference in the in the exchange rate. The other news that's important from today is the QE has been falling down. So the possible so one thing we need to look at is from yesterday, Kiwi CPI came out, it was at 0.4%, even though it's less than the forecasted of 0.5%, but it was still more than the previous month, the previous month, which is this 0.4% is from June, and this is greater than minus 0.3% from May. So this would be actually good for Kiwi dollar, and Kiwi dollar should appreciate, but it didn't. So couple of explanations from this one is the downside move of Kiwi dollar could be driven by the strength in dollar. And I remember from couple of weeks and months ago how the Reserve Bank of New Zealand wants to talk down the Kiwi currency, so hence it's going as expected. And this could fall down further. If you look in the monthly, there's nothing to stop this from going down further. And I think those are the main news from today. The Canadian pair, since it fell down massively yesterday after the rate announcement, reducing to 0.5%. Today, most of the Canadian pair seems to be taking a break. Dollar Canadian, Euro Canadian, it fell down a bit because of the fall in euro, and Pound Canadian seems to be taking a break as well. The pound pairs in general, if you look at pound dollar, seems like there's a tug of war between pound and dollar because both currency pairs are bullish at the moment. So whichever wins out, we'll have to wait and watch. and the pound yen didn't move much, so the pound pair seems to be taking a break today. Pound Aussie dropped a bit because the Aussie dollar appreciated a bit, so I don't see any reason why Aussie would appreciate, but this is more like a kind of consolidation, I think, rather than any news driving this movement. And otherwise I think so what the key things note here is in the currency. So the bullish currency pairs now are euro and pound, US dollar and British pound. The other currency pairs, Canadian dollar, Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar. I think they are bearish currency pairs. Not so sure about dollar yen, because dollar yen, I remember the Bank of Japan chief mentioning that when the dollar yen pair was reaching 126, he came out saying that yen couldn't get weaker. Now during the crisis of Greece and China, yen appreciated against dollar and other currencies because yen is sometimes considered as a safe haven too. But now that the crisis is gone, dollar is appreciating against the yen. Now we'll have to wait and watch whether this may touch 126 again, but will it really take out 126? Now with US rate rise looming in the horizon, US could really appreciate. Only thing that keeps me from affirming this is the comment from HSBC currency chief of currency strategist. He said that the dollar bull run is over. So dollar has been on a bull run since around last summer. Now he said it's almost over. Now, not sure. If there's a rate rise in September, I think dollar could still push ahead. Yen movement and Nikkei seems to be correlating very much. So slight up movement, so it went up. S&P seems to be on the upside as well. FTSE is moving up. Now I was thinking about the relationship between pound and FTSE. Even though FTSE is up today, pound didn't move much up against dollar or yen or Canadian or Aussie. So I think this will stagnate around here for a bit. And the dollar index is kind of consolidating as well around this area. The price of oil is also consolidating, so it could further fall down. Same thing with Brent as well, it's consolidating now. Interesting one about the gold was gold seems to be going down. Well, in a way this is showing the strength of dollar. So as long as there's dollar strength, the price of gold will go down as well. So with the rate rise looming for gold in US dollar, the gold price could further go down, but this is hard to say because there's a very strong support around the 1150 mark. Anyways, I think those are the important ones from today. Tomorrow there's nothing much. There's some consumer price index coming out from dollar and Canadian, but I think the good chunk of the movement for this week I think is already over. And I think that's all that we can go through for today, and we'll come back again tomorrow.